One morning, a school bus filled with students was traveling on a trip. The atmosphere was cheerful. Everyone was laughing and playfully hitting each other with pillows under the calm, sunny weather. One of the students was Mitsuko, who sat quietly writing while writing a poem in her notebook. Two female students mocked her for not joining them and suddenly snatched her notebook, causing her pen to fall. As Mitsuko bent down to pick it up, a violent windstorm struck without warning. The force of the wind split both buses in half, along with the students inside. Mitsuko only survived because she crouched down at that exact moment. When she stood up, she saw a horrifying sight. The bus roof was gone, and her classmates had been sliced apart. This time, she senses another windstorm coming, so she quickly crouched again to survive. The storm continued its destruction, tearing down power lines and poles. When the bus finally stopped, Mitsuko climbed out and ran quickly. She soon reached the second bus, where bodies lay scattered across the road. Terrified at what she saw, she kept running as the storm followed behind her. Mitsuko saw four girls walking ahead. Acting on her instinct, she pulled one of them to the ground, just as the wind struck again, and instantly killed the other three. Although Mitsuko had saved one girl, she later died while trying to help a group of boys on bicycles who were also caught in the storm. Seeing that, Mitsuko ran until she reached a river, where more bodies floated in the water. After washing her face and changing out her uniform, she continued walking. Hours later, she arrived at a girls' school. Strangely, the uniform there was identical to hers, and everyone seemed to recognize her. Her friend Aki soon approached her with a smile, urging her to come inside. Confused, Mitsuko questioned how they could suddenly be classmates again, but Aki insisted they had always attended the same school. When Mitsuko flinched at a passing breeze, Aki grew concerned, remarking that she was acting strangely. Later, when another gust of wind passed, Mitsuko panicked and ran off in fear. Aki chased after her, trying to reassure her that there was nothing to be afraid of. Mitsuko began to relax. When she was alone with Aki, she asked if she truly belonged at the school. Aki told her that she did. Over time, Mitsuko started to believe that the terrifying bus incident might have only been a dream or hallucination. When she told Aki about it, Aki calmly opened the window and showed her the gentle breeze outside, insisting it was harmless. Mitsuko reached out and felt the wind and slowly began to believe her. The two shared an awkward laugh at how strange everything seemed. Aki then suggested that Mitsuko might be suffering from memory loss. Later, they met up with friends, laughing and joking as they skipped the rest of their classes and went into the forest. For the first time, Mitsuko felt genuinely happy again, convincing herself that the earlier incident was just a nightmare. At the lake, Aki mentioned Mitsuko's strange story, but one girl, Reem, speculated that it could be real, that Mitsuko might have crossed into a parallel world. As they played around with a pillow, Mitsuko noticed two girls nearby. She smiled at them, but they suddenly vanished. Reem then told her that if she wanted to change reality, she needed to do something unexpected. Mitsuko suddenly got confused on this. Back in the classroom, Mitsuko picked up another pillow and playfully threw it at Aki. In an instant, the teacher pulled out a machine gun and opened fire, killing all the girls, including Aki. As the teacher aimed at her and told her to pray, two mysterious girls appeared and rescued her. While escaping, they passed another classroom filled with dead students. They hid, but another teacher entered and killed one of the survivors. A girl who tried to fight back was instantly shot. Reem attempted to help Mitsuko to escape, but was shot, telling her to run. Mitsuko fled with a few remaining students as teachers shot at them through the windows, determined to eliminate anyone who had skipped the class. Only 5 girls managed to escape. One of the students told Mitsuko that everything depended on her, but Mitsuko did not understand what it meant. Suddenly, the deadly wind returned, killing everyone except Mitsuko once more. Alone again, she ran as the wind chased her, eventually reaching the city. In the crowded streets, she noticed something strange. Everyone around her was a woman. Spotting a police station, she ran inside for help. A female officer found her behavior strange, especially since Mitsuko couldn't explain herself and was too shaken to speak. The officer then called her by a different name, Keiko. Confused, Mitsuko looked in a mirror and realized her appearance had completely changed. The officer Tomo treated her as Keiko, her friend, and cheerfully mentioned that her wedding was only hours away. Still in shock, Mitsuko remained silent as Tomo took her to a car and brought her to a church. A large crowd welcomed her. Inside, she was brought to a room to change. There, she froze in disbelief upon seeing Aki alive once again, leaving her questioning what was truly happening. Her voice trembling with panic, Aki quietly told her to stay calm and promised to explain everything later. Outside, the women chatted excitedly about the groom while preparing Keiko for the wedding. Once they were alone, Aki called her by her real name, Mitsuko, and instructed her to follow everything she said without questioning. Trusting her completely, Mitsuko allowed Aki to dress her for the ceremony. Just as everything seemed normal, several girls entered to escort Mitsuko, but Aki suddenly attacked and killed them. She explained that Mitsuko needed to learn how to defend herself, handing her a broken glass bottle for protection. Mitsuko, still shaken, walked toward the altar holding the weapon instead of flowers. At the ceremony, the guests was cheering for her. However, instead of a groom, a coffin was placed before her. When it opened, it revealed Keiko's supposed husband, a corpse with a pig's face. The guests began acting disturbingly, laughing, mocking Mitsuko, and pushing her toward the corpse, forcing her to kiss it. Overwhelmed with fear and rage, Mitsuko stabbed the body and lashed out at the women around her. Aki reappeared and tried to calm her, but two teachers suddenly arrived. Together, Mitsuko and Aki fought them in a brutal struggle, and eventually escaped the church. Aki stayed behind to delay the teachers while Mitsuko ran. Soon after, a girl in sportswear stopped her and called her by another name, Izumi, inviting her to join a marathon. When Mitsuko looked at her reflection, she saw that she had transformed again. Now she appeared as Izumi, a famous runner adored by the crowd. Confused but exhausted, she chose not to question it and continued running. During the race, strange figures including the pig-faced man and the teachers chased her. The runners around her urged her to be brave, saying she was the only one who could escape. She ran off the track into the forest until she reached a dark cave. Inside, several girls who resembled her surrounded her. One of them warned that if Mitsuko didn't die, they all would, then attacked her. Aki appeared just in time and saved her again. She urgently told Mitsuko to repeat a phrase, "I am Mitsuko." Despite her fear, Mitsuko repeated it over and over until her identity stabilized and she transformed back to her original self. Finally, Aki revealed the truth. She explained that the world Mitsuko was in was not real, it was a fabricated illusion, and Mitsuko was its central character. To escape, Aki said Mitsuko had to pull 2 wires from her wrists and kill her, which would lead to the control center of this world. Mitsuko refused at first, horrified, but Aki insisted there was no other way. In tears, Mitsuko obeyed. When she pulled the wires, Aki's body split apart, and she died instantly. Mitsuko suddenly found herself in a restaurant, this time in the real world. She noticed men everywhere and soon discovered a poster showing 3 characters, Mitsuko, Keiko, and Izumi. It was an advertisement for a violent video game they were part of. She realized she was now in a dystopian future ruled entirely by men who were obsessed with survival games. A man approached her, recognizing her from the game and telling her she was now in the future. Overwhelmed, Mitsuko fainted. When she regained consciousness, she found herself back in a cave once again, as if the cycle had not yet ended. Inside the cave, she saw all the game characters preserved, like lifeless mannequins. As she moved deeper, she noticed an old man seated in front of a large screen, playing the tag game using Mitsuko's character. He turned to her and revealed that it had been 15 years since their high school days, admitting that he had admired her back then. He explained that after her death, he had taken DNA from her and her friends to create 3D replicas. Mitsuko stood frozen in horror as she looked around and saw lifelike copies of herself and Aki nearby. The old man smiled and proudly stated that he had made those copies to use in his game. Moments later, a young man entered and told her to lay down on a bed. Terrified, Mitsuko slowly obeyed. Just as the man was about to touch her, she recalled Reem's advice to do something unexpected if she wanted to escape from the illusion. Mitsuko suddenly lashed out. She shouted at the old man, accusing him of treating girls like toys, and struck him with a pillow, sending feathers into the air. And grabbing a metal rod, she then stabbed herself in the chest. The old man screamed in shock. realizing that her death would destroy the entire game. As a result, the game world collapsed. In the end, Mitsuko was finally freed and returned to the real world.